Hey guys, thanks so much for coming on today. All right, so we have an exciting day today. I know that usually it's just me talking about parenting stuff or behavior or how your day's going, different things. But today we're actually going to be having an interview, and I'm excited about this because I've done a few. And the one today is with a friend of mine. Her name is Jen Snyder, and she is a health and fitness coach. And I met her that way. So after COVID, I hadn't been going to the gym. I was just not going because of the whole COVID thing. And so I was like, I need to do something else. So I started going online. I found a program, and Jen ended up being my coach. And that was like 2 years ago. And so if you followed me on social media at all during that time, you probably saw me jumping around on camera. And so I was on her team, and I'm actually still on her team. I don't do a lot with it anymore, but I still follow along completely. And I do all the things that she recommends. And I'm even in a group with her, which we're going to talk about today, a Facebook group, which you can join. And if you want to, because it's really motivating to keep you eating healthy and keep you exercising and doing all the things we need to do as we're getting older, and especially during the holidays. So let me tell you guys about Jen, because I want to introduce her in a second. I'm going to bring her in. She has 2 kids. She has a boy and a girl, and I'm not really sure how old they are. And she's been married for about 12 years. She is a pediatric physical therapist as well as the health and fitness coach. So she does 2 things, which is amazing. And she's worked with kids from 0 to 3 all the way for about 18 years, which is a lot. So she has a lot of experience with families too, which is what makes it great for this group. She's been doing the online fitness coaching for 4 years, and it is her passion. And if you follow her on social media or in the group, you will see that she is one of the most authentic people that I have seen online. And so she is a great person to follow on Instagram. She will get you very, very motivated to work out, and she makes it easy. So, and eat healthy. So she's amazing. She's been great. And I've loved watching her journey. Because you can tell she really wants people to feel good about who they are. The other really cool thing about her is that within the company that she works, she's like at the top 1%, and she earns stuff all the time for the things she does, which is really cool. So and when I met her, she wasn't, right? Like she was just doing this, and she did have some things with the company, but now she's just exploded with it. So, it's amazing. And I think it's because she's so passionate about it. So I'm very excited for you guys to meet her. Her name is Jen Snyder, and I'll put all of her information below so you can either check her out online or join the group. All right, so here she is. Let me see if I can get her in. Are you there? Oh no, there she is. Okay. Hey, Jen.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you? So I
Good.
just introduced you, so they know about you, and they know that
Okay.
you work with kids and that you're an online fitness coach. So thank you so much for joining us in this group.
Absolutely.
And we cannot wait to learn all of your tips and tricks for what you do and how you do it, because you're amazing. And I have, I'm going to put below, I'm going to put your Instagram information and then the Facebook group. So if they're interested, they can join your group.
That's perfect. Wonderful.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about tell us a little bit about what you do. Like I know you do the pediatric, what is that? Explain your pediatric physical
Okay.
therapy.
Sure. I am a pediatric physical therapist. So I work with children 0 to 3 years of age in early intervention. So in Pennsylvania, that's in their homes. So
Mhm.
I go out to their homes. These children could be a child that does have a diagnosis from birth, like Down syndrome or cerebral palsy. Some kids are preemies, born a little early. Some kiddos just have developmental delays and aren't walking. So we provide services to them in the home. I've been doing that for 18 years. The reason that I chose that career is because my younger brother, younger as in 40, but younger brother has Down syndrome.
Okay.
So that is why I went that path after PT school. I absolutely positively love it. Love it, love it, love it.
Well, that's amazing. It's really cool that you do that. I see some of your stuff online that you've done, and it's really, really neat.
I
And
love
so,
it.
yeah, so then you've done that. That was your college stuff, you in that career. So
Mhm.
what made you want to do health and fitness and
Right. Right.
nutrition?
I have worked out since I was young. Since I was 16, I played field hockey in high school. I've always really been active. And I kind of think too, a lot of physical therapists I know, it kind of just goes with our career, even though I don't do adults and orthopedics, it kind of just goes. And I know how great I feel when I work out. I've only learned later in life how good I feel when I eat better than I maybe was previously. And that just, the more that I kind of learned about each of those areas, the more I wanted to share it with other people, because I do think it makes such a change in not only your physical, but your mental health as well.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do that kind of with go with my physical therapy background, because that is my degree, plus kind of add that in and bring in the nutrition component. And that's where I am now.
That's great. And so clearly you're busy. You have a lot of things going on. So how do you make the time to get your workout in, to eat the things you need to eat? How do you do that? How does that work for you? Because I know a lot of people struggle with that.
And I always say too, I mean, number one, I always say, as far as working out, 30 minutes a day is plenty. And honestly, 4 times a week at minimum is plenty. What I always do is I get up early. That is honestly, I'm a morning person, number one. And I always, when I talk to anybody that wants to join me, I'm like, you need to figure out what time of day is most convenient to you. Exercise shouldn't be stressing you out. You shouldn't get home from work and that's not a good time. Maybe your kids have sports, you have to make dinner, and you're like, oh, but I have to work out. Well, clearly that's not going to be a priority. So I always say, first assess your day. When do you have 30 minutes? Me, I got to get up early. I've been doing that for years. It was not easy at first, but now it's just my normal routine. It sets the tone for my day. So I think that's a priority. Find the time in your day, what works best for you. As far as nutrition goes, I always say you have to eat. So it really isn't taking any time out. It might take a moment to kind of learn what foods are better for you. You might have to do a little bit of meal planning or prepping. I always go over with my challengers like convenience foods. I am a big proponent of buying pre-cut veggies, because honestly, I don't have time to sit there and cut vegetables. I will pay the extra money for that. So that is kind of how I work it into my day. I always make sure I have water beside me. And I make it a priority, because if my whole philosophy is, if you don't take care of you, you're not gonna be able to take care of anybody else. You're not gonna be able to do your job to the fittest, your children, your husband, your spouse, whoever that may be, if you're not taking care of you first.
I agree. And that's one of the big things I talk about in this group a lot, is it's really all about us and taking care of us. And I think we forget that, because I don't think our parents did that. At least I know my mom did.
No.
I think we're a different generation. I don't even think our parents' did that. They were in a whole different world. And so it's really, I think we're really fortunate that we have the ability to take care of ourselves. And I think we just need to learn how to do it. And we don't have to run and do what our parents or our grandparents did. So I think that's really, I know you taught me. So when I first met you, I was working out like 45 minutes to an hour every time I would go to the gym, right? So I would go to the gym. So it took me like 20 minutes to get to the gym. I would be there like an hour and a half, and then have to drive home. So the whole thing took like 3 hours. And when I met you, I remember talking to you through text. I was like, well, it's only 30 minutes. And you were like, that's fine. I'm like, I don't think that's going to be fine. And I remember fighting it initially, but then as I started doing the organized programs, I was in the best shape but way before when I went to the gym, because I was actually following a specific program, and that was only 30 minutes, which was crazy to me that it only took that long.
Well, and I was you. So up until 4 years ago, I went to the gym. And travel time, getting there. And I think that's many people's hesitation when they reach out to me and they don't know the details of what I kind of do. They have that in their head. I mean, that's a 3-hour commitment right there. Driving there, coming home, showering, getting ready, going. It's more stress than it's worth. And I had the same thought as you. When I started doing workouts at home, I'm like, half hour. I'm like, I'm at the gym for an hour and a half. This is never going to work. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in better shape over 40 years old than in my 30s. Living at the gym. I'm like, maybe this does kind of work. And obviously I've stuck with it. I haven't seen a gym in forever. I mean, I love a gym, and for people that a gym works for, that is wonderful. I just, in this day and age and in my life right now, this is where it's at.
And I think what you're talking, like our stage in life, having kids, like little kids, we just don't have time. And maybe when I'm 70 or 60 and I have time, maybe I'll want to go do those like sneakers. What are those like? Silver sneaker classes. And I might, and I'll be all about it. But right now I just need to like get my stuff in, be healthy and not. And I find that being in, so the group that you run, how do you feel like that? I feel like it helps because it keeps you motivated because there's people, because at the gym, there was people that I became friends with and I connected. So tell us a little bit about your group that you have that helps as well.
Okay, so I run an online accountability group. Right now it's on Facebook. Sometimes I switch it up and put it on a different app, but right now it's currently on Facebook. And what the group did for me when I started is why I kind of pay it forward by running a group. Because there are many days I'm like, I don't feel like doing it. I don't want to get up. I don't want to work out. I want to do this. And I'll get in the group and I'm like, oh, Anastasia worked out. Okay. I'm like, it's just one of those good motivators. And that's what I want to be there for. And I also love the group to be like, you can say, today was not my day. It's not a form for nobody is in there complaining, but we're all brutally honest with each other and like, you know what, today was a struggle, but you guys helped me push through, or today I didn't get to work out, and we're all like, it's fine, you're good, let's, how's your life going, kind of checking in, and that little bit of like that accountability piece. And I also love to just make it fun, because I'm always like, guys, it is just fitness and nutrition. While I think it's so valuable, it's not so serious. So I love to do prizes and contests and like silly spirit days if people want to participate online. What I also love about it, I know a lot of people have gym anxiety because they don't want to talk to people.
Yep.
Like they don't want to go in the gym. They don't want to talk to people. I always had my headphones on. They don't want to interact. And they are afraid of looking silly. Whereas when you're working out at home, then you have the opposite. You're like, well, now am I isolated? This is kind of the best of both worlds. You can still have that social interaction piece online where you're doing workouts on your own, you're in the privacy of your house, you do your own thing, but you still have that connection and don't feel isolated. And I think that's the big difference between just working out at home and having an accountability group. Because a lot of times, like if people just hop on YouTube and do a workout, but then they're like, okay, and then like, well, I didn't stick with it. I'm like, well, number one, a lot of times there's not a program. Like I stick with it. And there's no accountability piece. I mean, they would be a stronger person than I if they stuck with that. I need that accountability to say, okay, checked off day 2. Look, everybody else checked off day 2. Okay. And kind of proceed forward.
Yeah, no, that's been super helpful. I print out things all the time and I check it off because it keeps me like going to the next day and the next day. And then I see on there and I'll see somebody else on there and I'm like, okay, they're doing it. It's hard for them, but they're here and they got up. And so, and it definitely is motivating. And yes, I definitely need it. So I appreciate
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I really
100%
appreciate it. So I was going to ask you too. So during the holidays, it gets harder, right? So it's harder to get it all done because we have so many things that are happening with our kids, all these different things, and then plus all the other extras. So how do you do like the nutrition piece? Like what is that? How does that work for you?
Yeah. So what I always say, my biggest issue that I run into with people that are trying to start now, they're like, oh, I just want to wait till after Christmas or after New Year's. And I'm like, why? And it's that all or nothing mentality that like, well, I have holiday parties and I want to have cookies and I want to have my wine. And I'm like, yeah, so I will be having all of those things. So what I always say, yeah, right. Like I am not that person. Believe me. I think a lot of times we run into the all or nothing mentality and we're still in that diet mentality. Like I will never say diet. I am not on a diet. None of that. What I always say is adding things into your day, not necessarily taking away. So number one, what the easiest thing, and it's the first thing I say to anybody that is like, I can't do anything for myself in December. And I'm like, are you drinking water? Super, super easy. What you should be doing is drinking half of your body weight in ounces of water per day. That is what I know, which is hard, which is why it sits here. It is hard. It is definitely hard, or at least trying for that. I will tell you that previous years I would run on caffeine and cookies. That's how I would get through December. Like, oh, I'm tired. A lot of times if I'm tired, if I drink 8 to 12 ounces of water and give it a few minutes, I'm not tired anymore. I'm dehydrated. So that's one of my easiest things. I'm like, okay, if you're going to do anything this month, add in your water. That's another option. I'm like, you don't have to say, I'm not going to have my Christmas cookies and I'm not going to have this and that. But if you're going to have Christmas cookies 3 times a day, why don't you have them 2 times? And that other time have a healthy snack like carrots and hummus or string cheese or something that works for you. Simple little substitutions throughout the day versus that all or nothing mentality, because all that does is by living off of sugar and junk, all caffeine all day, you just feel until you have that again. Then you get the sugar rush, you get the caffeine rush, you feel great for about 20 minutes, and then you crash again. If you balance the things that you want, like some coffee, some wine, some treats, in with healthy options, you will feel so much better and have so much more energy to do the 5,000 things we have to do from now until December 31st.
Yeah, I agree with you. And so how do you do your shot? Like, what do you do to prepare for all that? Like, is this something that, like you do at the beginning of the week? Do you plan
Right.
out your week with what you're eating?
Right.
Yeah, how do you do it?
So my easiest things that I do my day. Number one, I have a huge water jug that sits on my counter. I fill that every day. That is the amount of water I need to drink in a day. I got it off Amazon. So that is something I do every single solitary day. When I do grocery shopping, I always get the pre-cut veggies. I'm very big on grab and go. I get pre-made guacamole, hummus containers for myself and my family.
Yeah.
I always get my fruits and wash them and have them easily accessible for me and my kids, because I really think like I'm setting up examples for my kiddos who want to come in and they want the Christmas cookies too. And I'll say to them, I always say, did you have a healthy choice first? And they'll say, no, I'm going to have an apple. I'm like, okay, you have an apple, have a glass of water. If you're still hungry, okay, have the cookie. Sometimes they just don't. They're just over it. So I think those little steps, I do not spend a day of meal prepping. That's not me. I'm more about convenience, grab and go. Some people do. I can cook. I don't love to. So I try to do those easy, accessible things, especially for the grab and goes. And I keep meals simple. I always try to have like a protein, a carb, and a veggie, because I have my son going to soccer, my daughter going to dance. We have Christmas things. Like keeping things simple, I think is the way to go. If you go in and you're like, I'm going to do these 6 recipes and cooking's not your thing, or it's going to be upsetting when most of your family won't eat it, I always say just keep it simple. Keep it
Yeah.
simple is a way for success.
And I noticed too, when I look at your stories on Instagram, you'll sometimes share some of the things you're making, which I think is motivating, because I know you're not spending a ton of time because you're driving and you're doing stuff. And so I think the way you do it is a great example. It doesn't have to be that perfect Instagram story where you're standing there making this amazing, like, yeah, what you're making is good and it's healthy, but
Yeah. It's simple. It's like, and I like a couple ingredients. I like a simple meal. I always say when I post a picture of food, I do not do presentation on the plate. Like this is what I'm eating.
yeah.
But I like simple, just simple. And I think that that's easier for when you have a family too,
Yes.
because I hear parents or, parents say to me, well, I'm going to eat it, but maybe my family won't. And I know that that's each individual, whether you cook something different for them or ever. So that's why I love a meal where it's pick and choose. Like a lot of times we'll do like a taco night where I'm like, well, here's your meat and here's all your toppings. And I tell my kids they need to pick 2 veggies. I have a couple different options. I'll do that with a salad night. I'll do that for dinner, like kind of have different options. They still have to eat some of what's there, but it's not as strict, where I think that I run into that problem too, that people are like, well, I want to eat this, but my family don't. I also say, if it's something small and you want to eat it, make it for yourself. I make stuff
Yeah.
for myself all the time.
Yeah, we do that now too, or we'll eat different things. I used to be a big proponent of like, we're going to sit down and all eat the same thing, but sometimes we do eat. I mean, not all the time, but sometimes we do eat different meals, because I might want something that they don't. And Isaac, my son will want, he won't necessarily like it, but I want him to eat something healthy. So I do mix it up more. I used to be very like concrete, and I'm changing that a bit.
Mm-hmm. It's hard. When I always say too, like I like a lot of soups that my family don't. Now my daughter usually does eat them, but I'm like, freeze it. Like
Yeah.
I'll make a big batch of soup on a Sunday for me and I'll freeze it in containers. And on days where, I mean, there are days my son doesn't eat dinner till late. My daughter eats at dance. And I'm like, okay, my husband's eating something else and I'll have soup. So there are different ways that you can kind of work it in to fit what works
Mhm.
best for you.
And I took that idea because I think I made one of the soups and I actually did freeze it. And I've been eating it for lunch this week, which has been helpful because nobody liked it but me.
That's me. That's me.
I'm like,
Taryn might, but half the time she's at dance. So I'm like, well, I guess it's just me. And I'm like, you know what?
yeah,
That's fine. I buy stuff. And I always think too, especially if you're the mom, I buy stuff for everybody else. I'm
yes,
allowed to make a soup for me. Like I'm
yeah,
allowed to have, and that's what I think that part of that too is that mom guilt of,
yes.
you are tending to everybody else's needs and you can have them try it. But if they don't like it, you're allowed to continue to eat it and they can have something else. Like it's okay.
Yeah, it is okay. And that's different again, what our parents did. Our parents did not
Yes.
do this. They
Oh,
were so different.
mm-hmm.
What
I
was your
sat at that table till I
yeah.
was done.
Yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
had to sit till you were done. Everybody ate the same thing and there
Yes.
wasn't the choice.
No, there's no choice. I sat there, and if I didn't eat for dinner, it was my breakfast.
Yeah.
Like my family was very, very strict. And I will say I'm a great eater. So I'm like, okay, maybe 2 given options. So I feel like there is a good balance. Um, and I think too, like I've learned like my son doesn't like casseroles. He doesn't like blended textures, but he'll eat everything constructed. So before I blend it together, if I'm making a casserole, I just keep out all the ingredients and that's how he eats it. Oh, okay, fine. Like kind of like compromising, still
Yeah.
getting in those healthy choices. I'm like, all right, you don't like it blended. Fine. Here it is a little bit separate so that everybody is still eating healthy and everybody's healthy and happy.
I think it's so good because it's respecting him and it's respecting his
Yes.
needs. And as kids, it was like you were respected, but you weren't. We were treated like a child, and it was like you were seen and not heard. You just followed everything people told you. And I love that things are changing and we are respecting our kids and you are letting them eat something different. And he doesn't like textures, so you're being kind and loving.
Yes, kind of. And he's like, what are you putting together? And I'm like, don't worry, buddy. I made your plate. He's like, okay. Okay.
So
I mean,
great.
it's an established thing. As a toddler, I tried to get him to eat it. He didn't like mixed textures. I've tried it several times. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like it. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's fine. But he still is eating a healthy option with his family, just a little bit different.
Yeah. And that is, it just show. And as he gets older, your relationship will just be stronger because of that in so many ways.
Yeah.
He's not going to
Yeah.
be like pissed at you.
I know. She made me eat a casserole. I
Yeah.
remember and he's like, no, my mom, he'll just tell his wife someday, my mom separated my food. Sorry.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, so I have one other question I was going to ask you. Or what is there anything else you want? I have a couple other things, but what else have I missed that you wanted to share with us?
Let me think. Honestly, I think one of my biggest things is for people to realize, like we already kind of touched on it a little bit, like this month is also about you.
Okay.
I understand it's about your loved ones, whether you have children or not. Everybody is so like, did I get this person a present? Did I RSVP to this party? Am I doing the cookie exchange? Am I doing this and that? And 99 things in December aren't for you. I mean, there just aren't. And you're allowed to have that 1% for you. And I think that's the hardest thing. I find it, especially with women, they're like, oh, I can't possibly do that right now. I've got to, do this and this and this. I'm like, but you can, and you should. And a lot of times that's the hardest thing to get past is realizing like you are allowed to take a moment for you in one of the busiest, most wonderful yet stressful times of the year.
Yeah, we need to do it. And so do you feel like that is what is your hardest thing with health and fitness and nutrition? What is the hardest thing for you to keep you going?
Oh, 100%. It's 100% guilt. That's why I get up in the morning, because I do think like, okay, like if I had to work out in the evening, for me, that wouldn't work. One of my kids is usually at some sort of sport and the other one is home, and I usually spend time with the other child. Well, if I was working out, I couldn't do that for my schedule. That wouldn't work. So for me, I have to stay accountable to waking up in the morning. Nobody else is awake, get in my workout, and then the rest of the day can be about my family and work and anything else like that.
Cool. Well, good. Well, I think that is a great thing to think about. And I hopefully, as people have listened to this, they can take some things from it and use some of it for this season and actually going into the new year. Because like you said a little bit ago, it doesn't have to wait till January 1st. Like you can start this right now. I mean, we're only in December. Start it now. Just drink your water, go for a short walk, something like, I think there's so many simple ways to be healthy during this time. And so you can join your group to help them stay motivated. They can follow you, whatever they feel that they want to do. But I do appreciate you coming on and meeting with me today. Yes. And this will be on Monday. So everyone will see Monday morning. And
awesome.
Yeah. So I am going to finish up and I guess that's it. So we will see you. I'm going to end it. And so just hang on for just a second. Let me just end this.
Okay.
Thank you guys for coming. Bye.
Bye.